All right. So hello and welcome to this Inner Answers webinar. I'm very happy and thankful that you've decided to spend a moment with yourself to pause and connect and to tap into your inner wisdom. This is very much the purpose of our time together, to guide you within and to help you establish a connection or a stronger connection maybe with your inner knowing. Can you still hear me and see me? Okay. So this webinar is also happening in celebration of my Inner Answers, a yin yoga and journaling self-paced online journey. And that's a combination of very powerful tools such as yin yoga to tap into your body's wisdom, meditation to guide you deeper within into your heart. It's recorded at a particular frequency that want to bring more clarity. There's a PDF of journaling prompts to use in combination with the practice. And it also has a breathing practice to clear and activate energy. So a very cherished offering of mine, and I'll tell you more about this later if you're interested. If we haven't met before, if we haven't practiced, I'll tell you briefly about my background and what has led me to come here to offer this. So as far back as I can remember, I've always been preoccupied by life big questions. And I remember being very little and wondering, why are we here? What's life? What's the meaning? What are we meant to be doing? And what's death and what happens afterwards? And in my teenage years, Buddhist meditation arrived or made its way into my life, and it did bring some answers, but it mostly helped me find that sense of stillness and being able to connect inwards and, work on a bit on the working of the mind and get to know myself better. And then when I was 18 years old, my mom passed away. So that triggered a big, or even more, a need and a desire to understand our purpose here. And it really was clear to me that we are given a certain amount of time, that it can be pretty short, that it goes really fast, and that we do have to make the most of it. And after that, after her passing, I just went traveling all over the world for a while, and I was very much looking for those answers with spiritual teachers, in sacred places, spending time in temples and mosques and churches, and getting psychic readings. And I did feel a little lost at some point in those travels. And it's when I came across a quote by Rainer Maria Rilke, who said, "The only journey is the one within," that something clicked, and I realized that I had been surrendering my power to external forces, to other people, to people that I thought had more knowledge or more experience, to mystics and psychics that I thought knew better than myself what applied to me. So that was a big revelation, and simultaneously yoga appeared in my life as well, and that was a big change in terms of connecting with something greater. There was a connection there with the sacred, or with that magical silence. There was that inward journey being deepened, and something clicked also when I realized that the lessons I was learning on the mat were also the lessons I needed to apply in my life. And nowadays I only teach yin yoga, restorative yoga, meditation, so a lot more calm, slow, mindful practices, and very much focused on that internal quest, let's say. And so I'll share with you a quote by my favorite, or one of my favorite author, John O'Donohue, who says, that your interiority is the ground from which nobody can distance, exclude, or exile you. This is your treasure. And I want to emphasize tonight that our health and our intuition are our most treasurable assets. So this webinar also comes into play at a time, a pivotal time or a transitional time. You're probably feeling it as well, going through changes in your own life. And we do live in a very young society, so a very active, very busy, very outward looking society. Being busy is a sign of success. We do get influenced, bombarded even by so many external information and other people's opinion, pressure from family and friends, our culture. And I feel that what happened these last couple of years has been a tremendous gift in giving us the gift of time. And during that time, we've been able to think about, where is it? I'll put it with you here, to examine and reassess our own values and priorities, what's important to us. It's been the occasion to think about and be mindful of where we invest our energy. Do we really want to spend time with those people? Do we really want to invest our energy into this project? It has been a fantastic time to reflect on how we want to live and to make those changes for more meaningful, conscious, and purposeful living. And so if you've been wondering, you've probably been asking yourself those questions if you're here tonight, but how do we find the answers and how can we be sure of them? It is through our intuition. It is through that connection to our own self, that inner knowing that will be speaking to us. So the intuition, you probably know that, we all have it. The ability to understand something instinctively, being the keyword, without the need for conscious reasoning. And a thing that one knows or considers likely from instinctive feeling rather than conscious reasoning. This is from the Oxford Dictionary, the two keywords being instinctive and feeling. So we do have three brains. We do have our brain, the logical, cognitive, conscious thinking mind. We do have the heart brain. So the heart brain is the electromagnetic field that receives and perceives information before they even reach the brain. So you would know if you enter a room and you feel a little bit icky, or you feel, confident, that's probably your heart picking up on positive vibrations from the people around you. And if you feel a bit contracted, that's your sign, to leave the room. And then the third brain is our gut brain. There's a lot of neurons and neurotransmitters in the brain, in the gut, that again reaches the body before it reaches the brain. So there is that gut feeling. When we have a knot in the stomach, our gut speaks to us, our intuition speaks to us through our guts. So we all have it. There's a baseline in all human beings. For some of us, it's more evolved or stronger, more developed than others. It communicates to us in a very different way, and that's a very personal thing. Each of us has our own intuitive language. So for some people, it might be through pictures, visuals, images. It might be through dreams, thoughts. It might be through patterns, things you hear. It might be through your dreams. And that's just something that you can strengthen and deepen over time. How do we know it's our intuition? And I feel that's a bit of a tricky part, where sometimes we feel things and we're not sure, is that the ego, is that the thinking mind, or is that our felt sense? So that intuition, it is a sensation, it's felt in the body. It brings us a sense of clarity, a sense of calm, often a sense of joy. There's a certain peace around it, unless you feel more of louder, and contraction, and that's often a sign to steer away from the situation you're in. But there's that knowing, it feels right for you at this time. And also it's very different from second guessing ourselves. When the ego starts to play, it's bringing the fear, it's bringing the doubt, it's questioning what you're feeling. And that's normal in a way, because we've all been programmed and we've been trained to think from our brain. We've never been asked, really, if you think about school, we're never asked about how we feel about a topic or about a question. It's always what we think about it. So we're not trained to go into the body and to tune into those feelings. A brief example of how that manifested for me is that before teaching yoga, I was teaching French language in schools here in Australia, and I was in a terrible school. I didn't last long, but I had my heart telling me very quickly, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. And my brain, so the ego brain, thinking, oh, no, how are you going to do financially? I'm going to be able to pay your bill. You need to stay in that job. And the heart, as I'd stay there over time, and disregarding my heart feeling, it started to shrink. And I felt my light becoming more slim, more dimmed. And it was on a very sudden decision, although it wasn't sudden because I knew already, but the sudden action on a Monday morning to say, you know what, that's it. That's not for me. And I just left. And that thinking mind, that fear-based reaction was kind of gone for a moment. And what was dominating was that feeling of, that sigh of relief that it's the right thing. You've made the right decision. That is right for you. And a certain kind of happiness returning to my heart. So you'll be surprised to hear maybe that intuition has been studied quite a bit. There are a lot of studies on intuition, and I'll just share with you a couple of results from study that's called Measuring Intuition, Non-Conscious Emotional Information Boosts Decision Accuracy and Confidence by Pearson and Donkin. And they say that that felt sense, before it reaches the brain, enables us to make faster, better, and more effective decisions. And this unconscious information manifested as feelings or sensations help us be more confident than the analytical mind. So we all have it. It is like a muscle, and who says muscle says we can train it. So how do we train our intuition? There are 4 key things. And first of all, we need to ask. We need to invite the guidance. That intuition, the inner knowing, doesn't force its way onto us. It's not a loud, disturbing thing. It can be very subtle. So we need to ask clearly for what we need guidance on. We need to be specific about what we need, and we can also ask in what form we want to receive it. So if you're not sure, that maybe for you it's your dreams or images or symbols, you can ask for clarity as how you want to receive your message or your guidance. Number 2 is to listen. So as we said, we are in a young society that's very outward focused. If we are very busy, moving constantly, it's not going to happen. We need to be in a yin state. So a calm, quiet, still, receptive state. And that's why practices like meditation or yin yoga are very powerful and helpful to help us receive those insights. Number 3, we need to trust what we hear or what we see or what we receive. And that's probably the hardest part, because as we said, that logical brain is going to jump in and try to make us doubt. And yet we know that this intuition is a very powerful source of information. So the question is, are we willing to trust it? Are you willing to rely on your intuition? And number 4 is to follow through. And that can also be tricky because sometimes this guidance or those insights don't really make sense at the moment. It's kind of, you know, out of the blue or disconnected from everything else. And we wonder, oh, how am I going to make this work, right? How can this be? And yet you'll probably hear a lot of stories of people who just, yeah, quit their job, change their life on a hunch without any backup plan. And yet it unfolded perfectly. It worked out well because they followed their intuition. And you might have had experiences like that yourself, where when you say yes to something that resonates in your heart, that feels very true to you, then everything else starts to align and it works out. So also remember that the more we trust and the more we follow through, the more we receive that guidance clearly or more obviously, it makes more sense, or it's quicker. And we also get more attuned to the way we communicate with our intuition. So as we need to invite in those answers, I invite you to grab your journal and for a couple of minutes to write down the questions you have tonight, things you need guidance on. So here are just a few suggestions. You are more than welcome to ask your own things, but for example, it could be, what is my dharma? What is my purpose here? We often ask, what do I want out of life? So in that active role, very rarely do we ask, what does life want out of me? Putting ourselves in that receptive space. What is the one thing, if I don't pursue, I'll regret? Or maybe simply, what do I need to hear at this moment to help me on my path? Maybe you've got other questions. So have a minute or two, write down your questions. Those answers need to be called in. And so we'll go for our meditation now in our quiet, calm yin space to invite our insights, our intuition. So I invite you to find a comfortable spot. You can be on your chair, you might choose to be seated on the floor, wherever you can be really comfortable so that your body is not a distraction. And the hands might be on your thighs or in your lap, just giving yourself a moment as you close your eyes Get a sense of where your body is making connection with the ground below. Allowing your breath to deepen. And as you breathe out, soften the face and the jaw. Let the shoulders and the arms rest. And bring your left hand onto your heart and the right hand to your belly. And become aware of the sensations of the breath right under your palms. The gentle uplift of the chest and belly on the in-breath. A sense of release and softening on the out-breath. And simply stay with your breath without trying to force or to change the breath in any way. Simply following the rise and fall of each breath. Catch your mind wandering, come back to your breath, breathing in, breathing out. And setting the intention for our meditation, I invite you to whisper to yourself quietly those questions you wrote down. Invite in the guidance, the insights, the affirmations you need. And then release your hands in your lap or your thighs so your body can fully relax. Take a deep breath in through the nose. A long exhale through the nose. And bring your awareness to the soles of your feet. Opening the chakras of the feet, connecting with the earth, grounding energy. And as you breathe in, invite this earthy energy upwards into your feet. Exhale and feel your roots deepening towards the core of the earth. And breathing in, keep drawing that earth, centering, grounding energy upwards into the ankles, into the calves, breathing in earth energy into the thighs, let that grounding energy fill up the whole pelvis. Bringing in that earth energy into the lower belly. Fills up the waist, the lower back. Rises up and fills up the upper belly. Breathing in earth energy into the whole heart space, front torso, back torso. And bring it upwards into the chest. Let it fill up the shoulders, the arms, the hands and fingers. Breathing in that earth energy into the neck, the throat. Let it fill up the mouth, the whole face. And let it exit through the top of the head. Rounded, centered, rooted within yourself. Now breathing in that cosmic energy, entering at the crown of the head. Filling up the forehead, the third eye, the whole face. Let it slowly ripple downwards into the throat, shoulders, arms, all the way to your hands and fingertips. Let that universal energy travels down into the chest cavity. Going down and filling up the whole abdomen. Receive that universal energy between the hips, filling up the pelvis. And reaching down into the thighs, back of the knees, calves, ankles, feet, and release it into the earth through the soles of your feet. Notice your breath, slow, easy, and effortless. And sense your own presence. Inhabit your whole body, your whole being. Only remains that felt awareness. Now rest your awareness wherever you most feel the breath in your body. And quietly ask your questions. Ask for guidance with an open mind, an open heart, receptive to the guidance that emerges from within you. Now slowly return your awareness to your breathing. Become aware of the weight of the upper body into the support beneath you. Sense your body making contact with the ground below. Express gratitude and thanks for the insight or the guidance you received. And make your next breath in a little deeper. The exhale a little longer. In your own time, when you feel ready, gently open your eyes. You might like to write down, to take notes of some things that came up. So I hope you got some insights, and I would like you to remember that this is always accessible to you, that inner compass is always, it's always there, and we just need to create the right conditions for us to hear that guidance. And then it's up to us to trust it and to act upon it. So I just wanted to share with you a bit more of the inner answers that's being released today, but it's not letting me do it. So I'll just tell you about it. So this inner answers today is a bit of a taster of what happens in the inner answers yin yoga and journaling self-paced journey. There is it's all about connecting to your dharma and finding purpose and finding your own answers, so that you can let that most authentic part of you, that part of you that may have been neglected or pushed away, to finally find its own voice and be expressed, so that you can live a life that feels meaningful and intentional to you. So there is a 75-minute yin yoga class that goes along with journaling prompts for each pose. There's also a breathing practice that helps us clear and activate our energy along the two main pathways of the conception vessels and the governor vessels, so front and back of the body. And there is a 20-minute guided meditation that's recorded at 432 Hz frequency, which is all about supporting the body's healing, and it's bringing clarity as well. So all in all, it's very curated with purpose to help us go inwards into the sanctuary of our heart, and listen to our own answers, find that power within. So that's being released today. If you have any questions or insights about the meditation or anything else that you would like to share, you don't have to. Maybe you're happy to stay in your quiet, receptive space. But I will email the replay. I will put a few extra notes in there. So if you have any other questions or feedback, I'll put the name of the study in it as well, if that interests you. And otherwise, let's close the little prayer for all of you. Thank you so much for your presence, for our connection today. May you hear the call of your soul, the call to rise, the call to voice your truth, the call to walk forward without any fear, but with only love and wisdom in your heart. The call to fully shine your radiance and your gift. Thank you so much. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Your pleasure. You're very welcome.